The big story this Monday morning was the Bajaj auto plant at Waluj, Aurangabad, under fire after a large number of COVID positive cases were found. 5 deaths in fact as well, and about 280 cases. Rajiv Bajaj, MD of the company, came out guns blazing with his defense on why he thought it was okay to keep the factory premises open, keep the facility and the plant running. There is a conversation on with the trade union at the plant as well, and they're trying to figure out a solution as cases crop up. Now, it's not only about Bajaj Auto. We've seen a number of large manufacturing plants get struck by, a sudden surge in cases of COVID-19. JSW Steel's plant in Karnataka went through something recently which was similar. The number of auto companies also which have faced this kind of a situation. Toyota, in fact, has decided to shut down one plant temporarily after a COVID death. Now, it raises a very crucial question. Rajiv Bajaj says that life must go on. We must learn how to live with COVID-19. That's possibly a phrase you've heard many times in the last few days. Learn how to live with COVID-19. The question is how. Not every business can, transmit to a work from home model. In a manufacturing plant, you need people on the ground. Long-term solutions to something like this could lead to more mechanization, less labor, and a larger loss of jobs. For how long can manufacturing facilities remain shut while workers are at home being paid, hopefully, full wages? On the other hand, who takes responsibility for the safety of these workers? Complex issues, and to discuss some aspects of these, I'm joined today by Mr. M.S. Unnikrishnan, MD and CEO of Thermax. I'm also pleased to be speaking with Rituparna Chakraborty, Co-Founder of Teamlease. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for speaking with us today. Mr. Unnikrishnan, first, your thoughts and views, and also have you faced a similar kind of situation which a host of companies have, where you have cases coming in and then you have to figure out what to do next?
Well, my opinion is very similar to what you mentioned about how long can you shut down economy, how long can you run away from a virus instead of facing it. But the question is how to face it, and there are answers to be found for it. There is no way we can stop the economic activity of the country anymore. And how to run it, knowing fully well human safety is also very important, not equally important. I would say, in my mind, first comes the human safety, then comes economy. But both can't be given up. It's equally important as far as India is concerned. Now, I can talk from my personal experience that the earliest of our factories that had a permission to start running was on April 4th. The chemical factories of mine, 3 of them, were given permission to start. Touchwood, and happy to say, till today, we don't have a single case in that all 3 factories put together. Similarly, we had one after the other getting permission for running our factories, engineering factories. The last one being in Pune, which is almost 4 weeks back, I got permission to start. Barring one isolated case which has happened from the factory, where again, we are unable to get the tracing as to has it happened from the factory or has it brought it to the factory. I'm happy to say that at this point of time, we are safe, but I'm not taking any credit for it. It can happen. What happened to many other factories, it could happen to us also. So how do we coexist with Corona, which can only happen when you think through? Because one is that every company is following a cut and paste mechanism of how do you have an app created, how do they give an undertaking to safeguard yourself from legal action tomorrow. Then in the bus, you putting less number of people, then sanitization of the entrance, then ensuring that there are some safe distancing equivalent tools are used for it. And that's not the end of it. In my opinion,
my point is that there is an SOP. Yes.
That SOP, what you write for a company, is not the same to be utilized for some other company. An office which is an IT office can't be the same thing for an engineering design office, though human beings are the same. The kind of activity that you do will have to define what is the modification you're going to do for SOP. For example, an assembly line of an auto company the way SOP is written for that for human safety can't be the same for a construction site of a boiler or a power plant. It has got to be different. So in each of this, somebody has got to apply his mind and create it, and it is practical for you to be doing it, and you learn by the day how to take care of it. See, today is almost zeroed in on to a system that droplets or this virus will remain in the air. It's an airborne disease. And in that one, how do you prevent people from, because we were talking about that earlier between me and Ritu on that how disciplined are your people and how to bring in discipline in human beings. And India is not very well known for discipline. We are a very open country. Everybody wants freedom, not only for expression. Their personal life should not be intruded into. Nobody will want to live with the system. So these are the issues that we're going to tackle. And I don't blame any organization, including the ones that you would have spoken about earlier. Among 7,000 plus workmen in a particular factory, maybe around 200 of them contracted. They have to get to the root of it, and I'm sure they'll solve it. Shutting down is no answer of a unit or any of them. That's not an answer. We need to have preventive measures taken.
Okay. Shutting down is not an answer, says Mr. Unnikrishnan. Okay. Mr. Unnikrishnan says shutting down is not the answer, but then what is the answer? Now we have to also understand the kind of situation we are in currently. India is over 6.5 lakh cases. Maharashtra, which has a lot of these manufacturing plants, especially in the auto sector and allied, has over about 2 lakh cases. We're at number 3 in the world in the total number of cases. Now, for example, in the Bajaj auto case, the statement that came out was that we cannot be an island when the rest of the world is going through this situation. Ritu, my question is that is it then even fair? If you see that you have an outbreak, is it fair to continue production lines till you have arrested it? We are seeing a situation where a lot of businesses are just shut for safety reasons. Technically, what is the difference then? If we are going to live with the virus, then why not live with it in restaurants, in cinema halls, in gymnasiums? Those are businesses as well.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, given the context of today's discussion, I think while safety is important, we are at that stage where putting India back to work is essentially what we have to be doing. Yes, but we have to be putting India back to work safely. And I feel that our ability to doing that is not dependent on there being only one solution or one person taking responsibility. I think we can be putting India back to work where the individuals or the employees concerned take certain responsibilities, where the employers take certain responsibility, where the state government takes certain responsibility and the government takes certain responsibility. I do believe that shutting plants and unit is not going to help the current situation. I think we are all aware about the status of the economy and the growth situation and how it's impacting our lives, jobs, and so on and so forth. I think what we essentially, in the current situation that you're talking about, I think, yes, it's possible that the plant might need, my view, a few days to kind of just put certain checks and measures in place. I'm sure there is a root cause analysis being done. It's a very large organization and a responsible organization. Maybe 2-3 days or maybe 5 days where to put certain checks and measures in place to kind of sanitize or make certain changes maybe in the SOP. But having the plant shut down in perpetuity or even for anything longer than a few days is honestly not helping the employees, the organization, the economy at all. And hence, when I say that each party needs to take responsibility, I'm absolutely with Mr. Unnikrishnan that we have reached a stage.
Yeah, no, but how? But how? How? I think everyone, right. I think everyone is in agreement. That, randomly shutting down XYZ plant may not work. But then what really is the solutions, because if you look at the SOPs, and I come back to that because that's the only guideline we have right now of what to do, right?
Yes.
Mr. Unnikrishnan mentioned before about some new news report which has come, whether it's airborne or not. Frankly, nobody knows, and there's a new version every day. All we have right now is that in a plant or a factory, you bring your workers in, there is social distancing there, and you have a thermal gun at the entrance. Now, these were guidelines which were put in months ago. So much more is known now. Now you know that there are asymptomatic carriers, but you still have your thermal gun as your number one frontier. My question is, Ritu, why has the situation and the SOP and the protocols not evolved? If we are not evolved, it's a matter of chance, right? You go into work and you don't know if someone is carrying the virus and could give it to you.
Tamanna, there is an answer for it. There is a specific answer for it. You touched upon the point. All of us are learning.
Respond and I'll come to you, Mr. Unnikrishnan. Let Ritu respond. Let Ritu respond and I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Let Ritu respond, sir, and then I'll come to you. Yes, Ritu.
Sure. So I think very valid point. But what I would also like to submit here, Tamanna, is that the evolution. Sometimes, and I think COVID is I can make comparison of COVID-like situation with plane crashes. Like sometimes you are able to develop SOPs for aircrafts only through plane crashes, right? And COVID is a plane crash kind of a scenario. I mean, whatever we knew about things that can go wrong in an airplane, we know through all experiences, and we have preventive measures in place. But essentially, what happened, particularly in this particular case, is something that first we need to figure out why it happened. Maybe we don't know still many stuff. Maybe we still have missed aspects of tests and measures that we could have put in place. And this is how evolution happened. My belief is because of the incident that happened in, let's say, the Bajaj factory, I am very confident that we will see the evolution. It's unfortunate that we have Bajaj as an instance. We all have to cut some slack on everybody involved, all stakeholders, that we are up against something about whom we know nothing about.
To be honest,
are still not sure. So,
to be fair, Ritu, it's not just Bajaj. It's not just Bajaj Auto. There have been a slew of companies that have massive cases. This is one company and one case which seems to have, hit the headlines because of quotes from the trade union, and then there's the social media into the mix and all of that. But the fact is that this is a larger problem than just with one company and just with manufacturing plants. I mean, beyond a point, a lot of companies which may not need factory workers to come in have also had to find new ways of functioning which may not be sustainable or the most productive. Mr. Unnikrishnan, you were coming in with that point. My question is, where is the evolution of ideas? Ritu compares this to plane crashes. I mean, thank God that plane crashes don't have the same frequency as COVID cases, but I don't know if it's a straight up comparison.
My thinking is slightly different. With the added knowledge available to us, how to coexist is what we're going to think about. In my opinion, first and foremost, if we were to segregate workmen who already are certain age and above, I would say that anybody more than 50 to 55 that you can take a call on that. And people who have got comorbidities are not allowed to be in the assembly line. So if I were to look at a classical factory, the total number of people with maybe this particular age bracket, say 50 and above, and also comorbidities could be maybe a 10 to 15 or a 20%. So fundamentally what we need to understand is that in India, this is my take on that, 90 to 95% of them are going to be escaping this. Maybe an 80 will get out with a very ordinary treatment, isolation and very ordinary treatment without any specific treatment to be given. Another, say maybe 10-15% will need treatment, but only the last maybe a 5% will be needing the ventilator level of a treatment, of which maybe you may have 20-25% of them losing their life. So today we need to take care of livelihood, and our soldiers, the youngsters, the people who are able to fight corona with the guarantee that we are able to support them. It will be like, I'm aware of many people who got COVID. I'm talking about those who are in the bracket of 20s, 30s, 40s, come out of that after 7 days, and then they started working also. So exposing them to a factory may not be a difficulty. However, exposing somebody who's got a comorbidity or maybe certain age and above, well, there is a chance of a fear, a danger that his life may be lost. So we need to have this kind of a clarity that till what vaccine is found and a pure treatment protocol is evolving, protect the vulnerable. That is the first solution we made. Next one, as the science is evolving, improve your SOPs. Like, I'm not what she told about as a plane crash. Take the upper version of what she mentioned about that. Any kind of an accident and a death or maybe an infection of a substantial nature, there is a learning to be taken from that. So we need to upgrade, which all of us are doing. Ritu
Is
is
a
doing
learning.
their office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, the protocols will develop as we go along, but it's easier said than done. There are many questions that still need to be answered. For example, if there is a worker or an employee who has a comorbidity, how long can they sit at home? And will they continue to be compensated? There are several such questions which will reveal themselves as the months follow and as we truly learn how to live with the virus. We'll take a very short break at this point. When we come back, the big interview of the day, Sajjan Jindal exclusive on ET Now, and the gloves are off. Clear message to China: you mess with us, we won't do business with you. Catch the best excerpts of that interview after this break.